Sean? Gina?
Our next
The microphone.
got a question here from Sean from Cranston.
Hi everyone, thank you all for coming. The question that I have for each of you is that, in which we've experienced here in the last year, that campaigning and governing are two separate things. Especially being in the state of Rhode Island and the governorship being ranked as one of the weakest seats that there are in all 50 states, your powers of making change are limited. If you are elected, each of three of you, one of the powers you have from government is executive orders. If you're elected, do you have any executive orders in mind that you would sign the moment you're elected to start rolling the ball in the proper way to make Rhode Island recover? And if you could please explain that.
Okay, sure. First 100 days, we're going to do some big things. Right? By executive order, we're going to get the Economic Development Office to expand their small business loan fund. Think of this. All the banks and the American Expresses of the world, they're not putting credit into the system the way they used to. In the old days, a small business needed money, you could fill out a form in 10 minutes, fax it into American Express, and be approved for a line of credit, $20,000, $50,000 within a matter of minutes. Those days are over. State needs to fill that gap. The state has a program that actually loans out money to small businesses. It's capped out though. Imagine that we have this called a credit card that small businesses can use to help their cash flow needs, and it's maxed out. All right. First 100 days, executive order. Let's up that like the other states around us are doing. Let's make it 100 million or even larger. Let's have the process so user-friendly that it mimics what happened in the private sector in the past. A one-page form, you don't need lawyers and accountants to figure out how to fill it out. We get capital flowing to the small businesses in our state. Those 35,000 small businesses, if they on average add one employee over the next year or two, we'll cut our unemployment in half. We'll go from one of the highest unemployment rates in the country to one of the lowest. It's about access to capital, and I'll be focused on that. Thank you.
The first executive order that I would sign would be to all of my cabinet directors to compel them to look at every nook and cranny in the departments, every department of state government, to look to lean out waste in our state government, to make government more efficient, more customer friendly, and to save taxpayer dollars. That's within the executive branch's authority to do. I know there's waste. I worked in the Fiscal Fitness Project 5 years ago, and in 18 months we saved the taxpayers $126 million. Those were just the low-hanging fruit. There's a lot more money that can be saved for taxpayers. We need to make our government smaller, we need to make it leaner, and we need to make it more efficient and customer friendly. That's the first thing I would do.
I just want to say I agree with Frank. As a small business owner, I've had to mortgage my house to get a line of credit that I need. I have a successful small business, a lot of money moves through it, I have $1 million payroll, and yet I could not get a loan from a bank. So absolutely, we have to get money flowing to businesses. It's just critical. It's the grease that keeps everything going. Although the very first thing that I would kick off would be an investigation and an audit, and ultimately a revamping of the state's computer systems. The state has a lot of disjoint computer systems. We don't have a handle on, especially within Health and Human Services, all the different programs are not talking to each other. We don't know the sum total of benefits that are going out the door. I believe that there is a tremendous amount of overlap and ultimately expenditures happening that shouldn't be. And I believe that through the use of technology applied the right way, we can look at this, we can recover monies that are going out the door that shouldn't be, and we have to use technology to our advantage. That would be the primary mission. I would personally oversee that as a technology guy, and I believe that we can really recover a lot of money if we put our minds to it and bring the computers the way we need them to go. Thank you.
Good evening, gentlemen. John Reynolds from Woonsocket, or as I like to call it, the cultural epicenter of all the known world. A lot of times we hear a lot of talk about lowering taxes, cutting spending. I remember when Ed Dupree raised the sales tax in Rhode Island to 6% to become a little more competitive with Mass. All right, we'll get along with that. In 1990, Bruce Sunland raised it to 7% to help pay for the Depco fiasco. I'd like to know why I'm still paying 7% when Depco was paid off 15 years ago. And if I want to go out to eat in the state of Rhode Island, now I have to pay 8%? know when this was enacted and why, because I don't remember voting on this. And I understand that the 1% goes to cities and towns. So I'm trying to understand, why aren't my property taxes enough to do that? My wife and I have decided not to go eat in Rhode Island just because of it. And fortunately, I live in a town where I'm close to Massachusetts. So I'd like to know why I'm still paying 7% sales tax.
What small business in our state is able to raise its prices in this climate and stay in business? None. Right? So why should government be raising taxes? Right? It doesn't match up. There's some disconnect going on in our state, and that's why people are upset. If we had a tax structure that was competitive, we'd be better off. Now let me tell you one area with sales tax where we are competitive, but you know what? We keep it a secret. We do not charge any sales tax on the sale of clothes in our state. Whether you buy a t-shirt for $10 or you buy a fur coat for a couple $1,000. Zero sales tax, all right? But you know what? We keep it a secret in our state. We don't brand it. We don't have billboards from Boston to New York saying, come to Rhode Island and shop for clothing, the clothing mecca of the Northeast, right? Here we have a built-in advantage. How many of you can picture the ad that Massachusetts has run in the past, talking about their sales tax-free holiday in the summer, right? That weekend in August, and all Rhode Islanders go there. They don't put an asterisk on it saying, if you're coming here to buy clothes, don't come if you're from Rhode Island, because you have that deal 365 days a year. So we need to take advantage of the tax system that we have, where we have no taxes and we keep it a secret. I already, highlighted that. I put a billboard on 95 during the holiday season, trying to be the shot in the arm for some of the small businesses, saying, come to Rhode Island, take advantage of that. And I would do more of that. And we need to have our sales taxes driven down, because where prices are low, people go to shop. Money goes where it's treated the best. And right now, we're not treating it well in Rhode Island. Excellent point.
Thank you.
I personally like the New Hampshire model. There's no sales tax. Yeah. There's no personal tax. And the Tax Foundation, a nonprofit organization in Washington, has ranked the state of New Hampshire as the most tax-friendly state in the United States. And guess where their unemployment rate is? 7%. You think there's some correlation between low taxes and low unemployment? That's what Rhode Island needs to do. We need to drive taxes down to stimulate the private sector. I can't answer your question why the sales tax is still up at 7%. It's awful. It shouldn't be there. We have got to lower taxes. Remember, government doesn't stimulate the economy. Free enterprise does.
I think there's a simple answer to your question. The answer is, we have not had elected officials, either in the legislature or the executive branch, who have the courage to step up and say enough. We have non-responsive elected officials. The reason your taxes are higher than you want them to be is because we do not have people in office willing to make the hard choices necessary to bring them down. We have a legislature that would rather worry about things like ultimate fighting, legalizing marijuana, than fixing the hard problems that we have. And we've dealt with this for a long time. Separation of powers. 72% mandate for separation of powers. Is it finished yet? No. Okay? This is the problem that we have. We need new elected officials up and down the line. And you're paying more in taxes because we do not have the right people representing your interest, the general population's interest in state government. That's why it's higher.
Thank you.